This is fine. We come back to a blank screen. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So I tried to get the Papa Cam to work, but it like hella fucking out. Like, I don't know what's wrong with it. But you see it's like hella glitchy. So it appears to also be upside down. So even if I did that, I don't know what's wrong with it, honestly. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out what's wrong with it, but another time, because I'm not even joking, every time I add a fucking, every time I add a camera source, the game just, not the game, the app just destroys itself. OBS is like, no, I can't handle this. It's a rave, yeah, and I don't know why. Thank you for the hearts, Galaxy Wolf. Yeah, sorry about the disconnect there, guys. I shouldn't have tried to do the Papa Cam thing. As much as I want Papa Cam, it's, yeah. I'm not even joking, it crashes every single time I do that. It's so dumb. Alright, I am switching to V-Rising now, so... Bro. What are those? What are these? Okay, I think we're good. Hello? Game? There we go. Sweet! Alright. My frames is dropping like it's hot. I hate that it, like, restarted the stream. That's so annoying. Everything seems fine though. Otherwise, all those issues aside, I think we're okay. I think everything's working now. Hey, Poopstick! That's what I call my dog. He's a poopy dog. I posted a really cute video of him today on Instagram. If anybody's interested in checking that out. If you want to see my poopy dog. My baby dog. He's very much not a baby dog though. He's old as fuck. He's like 12 or something. He is very cute. I love when he like I'll be petting him and he gets like all excited. And then he starts hitting me with his paws. It's very fucking cute. Just a casual bin bee over there. I just wanna untrack. Who is I tracking? This one. Untrack. Food has arrived. Enjoy. I decided I'm stealing Jargon's Palomino. This is a Palomino. Hey, hey, hey. Can we build the other thing yet, actually? I mean, we definitely have the blood essence. What broke? I have no idea what broke there. Cool. I'm so glad. Done. Stone bricks and the blood essence. I know we have stone bricks somewhere. Okay, we only have 4. No, that's stone body. Oh, it's these ones, stone bricks. Yeah, we have buttloads. A-okay. Jeremy, bury me. My ring is breaking. The throne. Where will the throne be? Moon is rising. Now would be a good time to go out and do things, I guess. I don't know where to put the throne, to be honest. The throne is fucking huge. Okay, then. Good God. Okay. Well, guess I'm yoinking Binby out the fucking way. What do you mean captions are not... They should be. Does that mean they just never work? They haven't been working? This is now the horse room. Oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to do as well. I wanted to build, so maybe it doesn't matter too much where I put stuff for now. Jeremy, you better move your ass out of the way, son. Before I move it for you. There we go. Oh! Oh? Oh my god, can we send them out to these places? Whoa. I wonder where they'd be able to go without getting killed. Oh, he's got both. Humble Hunter, infiltrating settlements. So if I put Andrew in, 100% success chance. Hunt duration. Okay, so the longer the hunt is... Whoa, he gets like buttloads. Ah, I see. Okay. I'm gonna send him out. So Jeremy... No, Andrew's going there. But I wanted to see... Can I send... Oh, we can send 3 there? Oh, we definitely need more guys then. All of these require like multiple... Oh, that's only 1. Ah, let's see. Ah, so we need to grab someone from there. Okay. Quite interesting. Hunting in fortified areas. Cool. Well, I needed to expand our territory anyway, I guess. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh wait, I wanted to do resources, didn't I? We'll go on this horse. Alright, so... I want iron, and I know there's iron somewhere here, so I'm gonna go that away. I wonder if you can make the horse jump down. Like so. Yes, you can! 10 out of motherfucking 10. That's the wrong way. This away, right? I don't know if you need to keep on spanking the horse's ass to make it run fast, but you know. It's a pretty satisfying sound. 40% rogue. Kinda want him. Oh, did they go inside? Ugh. Okay, less interested now. Whoa. I saw a big rogue. Just the head here. Well, 50%, which is bigger than me, so. Whoops. Oh. Yeah, no, let's not. Come back here, you. Whoa. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. I always forget about that. Cool. This is fine. Where is my house? There it is. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Let's get going. Oh, there's that sound again. Whenever it does that, I have no idea what it's what's disconnecting, but it might reconnect again in a bit. Okay, and then I want to go here. We're just gonna run past these guys. You can't catch me. I'm fast as fuck, boy. Let me just run into Tristan now. I'll fucking scream. Oh! Please, game, don't do that. That horse is indeed fast as fuck. Yeah, it's not your stolen one though. Yours is like insanely fast. Ah! I know y'all are not going after my horse. Oh, maybe they weren't. They were chasing the deer. Oops. Sorry, homies. Haven't seen any iron. Yeah, I didn't take the fancy horse. What if I get it killed? Pity we can't steal the other animals. That would be pretty cool. I think, at least. Lol. Controls are not my strong point. While riding a horse, at least. There it is again. Oh, that's... does not work. You hold no attachments to that horse? Oh man, I want to steal it from you so bad. But I also feel bad, you know? We actually need blood roses now because I've been using them in the potions. Whoops. What? I don't know what happened there. Whoops. That was weird. She like jumped off the horse but stayed on it. But did the attack and then jump back on the horse. Also, jargon, we really need more of the peepos. Like from all the different areas. Because you can like send them out on like missions. I sent Andrew out because there was a thing that he was good at. But yeah, if we can get more peepos, that's why I need to make the castle bigger. I probably need to go and fight that that golem as well. Ooh, why is there loot on the ground? Hi, Rusty! Hope you're doing well. We can make... Yeah, I think we can... Can't we make 3 each? I actually don't know. Oh, Skyboy wants to go out. Be right back, guys. Not me AFKing in a game where it's dangerous to AFK, but anyway, you know. It'd be like that sometimes. I know there's normally an iron thing here. Oh, it's not iron now. Damn it. He cares a lot about that horse but doesn't want you to know, right? Shit. Ow, 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 ow. Uh-oh. Oh, garlic exposure and sunlight? Oh, I'm gonna die. Okay. Pony Pony can sit there. What is this place? We've been through here before, hey. What did they have? If anything. Besides loads of fucking garlic. Oops. I need to not do that. 22%. Ow. Was that a villager? Relax, guy. I ain't doing anything. That horse pissed me off getting it home. Yeah, it did. Oh! Is she gonna fight me? Oh, jeez. Oh, whoops. It's because she's aggressive. She wouldn't get attacked. She's like going hamzo for me. I don't want to attack them. I just want to steal their shit, you know? I'm just here to steal your cotton, to be fair. Can actually hurt me, though. Ow! Harukahime! Hello, hello, how are you? Just let me steal your cotton. It's that simple. Bro, I really don't want to fight you. I have the most garlic exposure right now. Is it better over here? Yeah. Nine, 4, 12. Ten, 4, 12. Whoop! You slept like 4 hours? Goddamn. What were you busy with? Oops. 10, 6, 13. Will you die? Yes, I'll die if I'm in the sun. 10, 6, 13. That's pretty good. I don't remember where my other horse is. The villagers just keep forgetting that I'm here. Where is my horse, though? I know there's other horses that I picked up. Why can't I see him? Is it because there's too many horses here? The game is like, no, no, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Hi, Asus. How are you? I mean, it's not those ones, obviously. Did I leave him this side? Oh, he's down the road here. Oh, shit. That was not what I wanted to do. Ow. Oh, nice. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna die. Jeez. Day 69, is it really? There's my horse. Don't hit my horse, you ass. Uh-oh. Very oh no. Oh, oh, oh. That was very spicy of me. Yeah, they do a lot of damage because I have the garlic exposure. So I was too close to garlic for too long, so it made me, like, weak. Yeah, so I take 36% extra damage and I do whatever half of that is less. So yeah. It's not good. It's not good to be near garlic, because that happens. You don't like garlic? I love garlic, to be honest. There's that sound again. Honestly, have no idea what that is. I don't have any pots either. Oof. You're gonna outies, Toto. No worries. 26%. Damn, 62% rogue though. Imagine not having pots, me every time. Ah, fuck. Whoa, 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 whoa. I pressed the wrong button. I tried to wolf form, instead I pressed like Windows button. Oof. I want that other black horse. I'll go back for the other horse another time. It was that one? Yeah. England and USA. Oh, I thought the World Cup was done. How long does it last for? Okay, that route is spicy. But we can cut across to get home. Yeah, let's go through the forest here. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's the camera that keeps disconnecting? This horse is straight up Newman. It literally I ran past where I was supposed to be going. This is fine. I set out for iron. Didn't get any. Oh. There's houses. More houses. Oh, this looks like a spicy area. Wah! Run straight through spicy area. This is fine. Oh. I'm basically going where I need to be going anyway. This is fine. Windows 4 minus... Sorry, I've been like not looking at chat because I'm like trying to stay alive. You got 10 pages to finish? Oh, Hassan. Don't end the stream early. I won't. 20 days left? Because of... Oh, geez. Okay. That's long, man. You get that sound sometimes? So, Harika, it's because I think it's because I plugged in another camera. Yeah, it didn't make the noise now when I unplugged it, so I think that's what it was. Because I wanted to set up a papa cam because my dog was in here earlier. Whoops. Woo! They bringing the spice, man. I like how they didn't notice the horse galloping behind them. Cool. Seems legit. Oh yeah, we still haven't gone fishing in this game. Oh! Shit. Hope they shot each other. That was a sleeping bear. Cool. Them's is wolves. Cool. I've well lost my path at this point, though. Where am I? Oh my goodness. Fuck, okay. I guess I'll go that way. How did I... That's the problem with traveling on the horse. You have too many USBs plugged in? Yeah. I think that's my problem as well. I have... Obviously my headset, my mouse, my keyboard, my webcam. My stream deck. Oh, shut up. Stupid plant. I don't think my ring light's plugged into my computer. Oof. Them spicy roots I'm taking. This is fine. What else is there? Oh, my Switch. With the... Whoa, something's happening. Ow! Oh, nice. That's what you get for hitting my horse, dude. What was fighting them, though? I wonder. It's free canteens, though. I'll take that. Thanks. You are forever on the map? What, your little... like your little bubble? Hey, buddy. Since I got water. Okay, I need to stop collecting horses now. More. This is Horse Ranch Simulator now. We can cull the weaker ones? What the f— I don't think you can unclaim the horses, though. So once they're like... Fuck's sakes, man. Just coming across everyone spicy on the road at the moment. I do have the human form, though. Let me try. I want to see what it does. Oh. I smell like garlic, though. I just know it drains your blood faster. Wait, where the fuck was Gavin? Is he back this way? I don't remember where he was now. Shit. What are we playing? V Rising. Do you know it? It's shit, where is the homie? Like I proper lost him? What an idiot. Anyway. It's like I wonder if you can human form. Man's pooped away. He did. That fucking laugh though. Whoops. I still burn in the sun. I guess I don't stop being a vampire. Yeah, I want to say it's like Valheim / Diablo and you're a vampire. That's basically what it is. I don't know if there's a better way to describe that. I think that's pretty on the nose. Hey BNB. I had to drag your body, by the way. Oops. Radio. Oh yeah, here's the thing. So yeah, you can send people out. So I sent, oops. I sent Andrew here. He's gonna get like loads of materials for us. But a lot of these require like 2 people. And then these ones, you kind of want to have the people from this area. So the Dunley farmlands. So I think we should go hunting for some new boys. In other words, a weeb. Yeah? Vampires is weebs. You can't control Jeremy. Oh, I can send him out. Like, I could... But I don't think it's a good idea. Because he doesn't have either of the, like, thingies. Yeah. I don't want him to die. But yeah, we have a throne now. It's also fucking huge. Thanks, BNB. Let's close the door. I need to expand the house. I think I need to go and kill that golem that's outside though. So we can each make 2 castle hearts. Oh yeah, there we go. So I can make one as well. I think it's helpful for when we have like 2 bases. Whoops. Jesus. Those do like no damage. Ow! What the fuck? Ow. Jeez, bro. Ow. I guess the problem with this is that I decided to fight him in the sun, you know? Otherwise, I think normally wouldn't be an issue. At least he's clearing everything up for me, you know? Could be worse. Ow. Ah! Ow, ow, ow. Jesus Christ. On a cracker, actually. I have nothing to heal with. This is not good. Oh, use the crossbow? Good idea. At least I don't have to worry about the sun anymore, because that nearly killed me. I was using my lifesteal. It doesn't do anything. Oh, that does way more damage. I did want to clear up this area though, because this is where I want to build. I would have thought that the copper mace would do more damage to him, to be fair. Like, you know, because we use that to break rocks. Yeah. I wanted to make our territory bigger. Look at all this sweet, free, easy loot he just left laying around everywhere. You have no honor? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm a vampire. I don't need honor. Yeah, be gone, moose. Vamos! Killing him with a bow? Ah, but you see, that's where you're wrong, Punny. I killed him with a crossbow. What do you mean cheap? I did most of my damage with my mace and my spells, which honestly do like no damage to those things, but you know. Be gone. Yoda, why you creeping? Creepy Yoda. Same? No, not... First of all, not same thing. Second of all, I did most of my damage with the mace. Thank you very much. In the daytime. No less. No less in the daytime. So... Oh, inventory full? I was like, why is stuff falling on the ground? That makes a lot more sense. Hi, Moose. I think this is mostly good. Let's see. Walls. Okay, I need planks and bricks. Oh, we definitely have those in the house. Is Batman honorless for using kryptonite versus Superman? Not a bad question. Jeremy, bury me. We'll just put walls up for now. Oh, there's a thing here. Alright, I didn't do the back of the house. Cool. You should watch The Good Place. Yeah? What's that? TV show? Movie? It's a show? When are we gonna do movie nights? 4 seasons? Damn, that's like a day. Just no life, that shit. Have 2 seasons running concurrently. These axes made quick work for some reason of the rocks behind it. Not complaining, just confused. Do I have to make floors for this to count? I can't remember how this works. Oh, loots. Inventory full. Oh, we're fine. Goddamn. Ta-da! What movies you want to watch? I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. Decision making is not really a strong point for me. I know Hassan asked me about watching Harry Potter movies, and I was like, oh, we can. But I don't know if we have animes to finish. Yeah, but that's just you and me, Joggin. Hassan said he wanted to watch Harry Potter. I don't know if he only said that because he was trying to get me to say magic or what the story was there, but I can put those away for now. Didn't Hassan stop by for some Gintama? Yeah, we didn't get very far with Gintama, which is fine.
Excuse me.
Ah, Hypergen Nick. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the posse. How are you doing? There's shit all over the floor here. All right. Let's see. Eh. So oh yeah, you like Gintama? It's really good. I fucking love Gintama. I haven't finished all of it because I got really close to finishing it and then I got really sad because I was like, oh, it's almost over. And then I just didn't finish it. So yeah, I need to finish it at some point. Joggin, you need to make yourself a fucking coffin, mate. Like yesterday. Because I can't make it for you. There was literally, I left this space open. This space was open for you. There was space to put a coffin there. That's why it was there. It didn't? Oh, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me there wasn't space. Ah. It's just difficult to build when we're both playing because you know, I want to go out and kill things. This is Jeremy Baramy, yeah? We'll put Jeremy on this side for now. Ah, fair enough, I guess. This is Andrew's coffin. Don't know where to put this for now, but guess I'll put it here. Walls. Yeah. And then... This is probably a little bit wasteful, but it's okay, because I can always just replace shit, yeah. I'm constantly changing things. I'm never fucking happy with anything. God damn. Ooh. I kind of like that. The blood altar right in front of the throne. I had a moment of panic that I didn't have a roof. And I was like, ooh! But we're good. We're fine. This is a-okay. Yeah, they're not, nothing rare, nothing special. We need to figure out farming. We do! I was gonna Google it, and then I forgot to. Oh, here we go. Grass, cobblestones, structures. Oh, we can make like a... Oh! Water supply, filling up containers with water. Oh. I'm gonna make a little place for the ponies. The whole anime is simply a parody mashup. It's great. Ugh, it's so good. I found that the unstable. I found that the translation, there wasn't translation notes, which kind of sucked on Crunchyroll, which meant that like a lot of the jokes, unless you know like all the references that they're making, a lot of the jokes you'll miss, which is unfortunate. Sorry, my chair keeps like sliding me backwards and I'm like, no! Release me! Yeah, I like that. You go in. You go give the blood. You sit on the throne. You sleep in the coffin. Whatever. Alright, and then... I want to build a study next when Jargon stops using all our paper. Don't be sorry, be careful, Jargon. Using up all my paper. Unbelievable. Mans was like, fuck this shit. Maybe I'll make a space for Pony Pony Chopper at the back here. Can make a little stable area. Not fucking Binby in the doorway. What a chop. You're gonna be sassy about it? I'm keeping my paper to myself. How dare you? Can I access your inventory while you're offline? No, I can just drag you. I can drag you into the sun and kill you. I could do it. I think I'll... actually... Let's see. How much paper do we have? Can't we? Don't you play this game now, Joggin. Give me peace, sir. You got work to do. We have so many scrolls, goddamn. We do need paper though, so I might go out and look for some. Vampire Sims, yeah? You're building your coffin? Ah, okay, perfect. I mean, drat. Dang. Just gonna log out quickly so Jargon can't log in. Not me and my 20 horses just laying around the house. Oh! Whoa!
Jargon 1674 screamed. 100 biddies. Fart noise.
Thank you. Do you want me to add a fart onto the... Tiff, thank you so much for the subby. How's it going? 3 months? Are you good, homie? What was I doing? Cotton goes in here, right? Oh wait, I was refining cotton for something. I don't remember what. Jargon, do you want me to add a fart sound on the on the redeem thing? What is that emote? I'm good, Tiff. Oh, Jesus! He's come to battle. Stinky Binby. Don't you have work to do, sir? You're in here harassing me. I'm doing good, though. Yeah, I don't have much to report, to be fair. I'm kind of just vibing. I'm apparently playing... what was it? Vampire Sims? I'm playing Vampire Sims currently. That's the game I'm playing right now. It's Vampire Sims. I'm thinking if I destroyed this... and then I can have another room off to the side here. And then I want to destroy this fucking window. But anyway. How goes the vampire things? It's a lot of fun. Have you played this before, Tiff? It's a lot of fucking fun. Holy shit. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Okay, I need bricks and planks. I think I literally just packed them away as well. God damn it, why am I like this? I think I might need to make more, actually. Oh, never mind. Apparently I had buttloads. Less buttloads there, but you know. You played a bit, you got level 1 base down, but haven't returned to it. Man, if you can play with a friend, like I've been playing with Jargon, it's a lot of fun to play together. No, Bimby's gone offline. Goodbye, Bimby. Yeah, it's a lot of fun if you have someone to play with. Are these the ones that make the stones? Yes, stone bricks. Your work here is done. But you didn't do anything. Sir, please, give me peace. Give me peace. You want problems only. I'm gonna throw bones in, even though we don't really need. I think they're not bad to throw in anyway, just to have going. And I don't know what we're gonna do with all the sawdust. I'm sure there's something we need to use it for, but, you know.
Got it!
Hey, Anon! I don't know who that was, but thank you very much for the gift subby. And that went to... Is it oh my god. That gave me a fright. 69% hype train. Nice. Thank you for the gift subby. I think it's Shoe TV XD. I think that's how you read it. Either way, pretty funny name. Thank you for the gift subby. Money, money. I love Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Such a good song, man. Alright, so I'm thinking we make like so, and then like so. And then this is gonna be the study, yeah? So we make like so.
Ha!
Ha!
Got it!
Jogging! You're still hanging? I'm still hanging, Oxy. I'm gonna be hanging for a few more hours. It's only... Oh, wait, I don't know how long it's been. Oh my god, my stream is broken. Hello. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subbies, Jargon. To Rebel, Kosuguti, just there for Toronto, Hypergenic, Respawn Kitty, PGM, Slick, Dude Bro Guy, Slick got one, Baron Blackbird, it's ZA Warlock, and Kayla! You got Kayla? I love that. Thank you so much, Jargon. Kayla got one. I'm back. I have Moose, Jinx, and McDonald's. I haven't met McDonald's yet. Hi, McDonald's. Nice to meet you. I'm Mao's bestie, so beware. Is McDonald's another cosplayer? Did we make the same joke there, Jargon? Please get out of my head. Please. You'll introduce me on Sunday. Listen, there's a lot of proof that Jargon and I share the same brain cell. That was a perfect example of it. We literally make the same fucking dumb jokes. I was typing the one you said and changed it. Oh my god. That's amazing. Hi Moose. Hi Jinx. How's the babies doing? Also, I can call them babies because they're younger than me. Even though Jinx is like, no, they're fighting it. There's a fucking moose in my house, mate. Not the kind of moose I want in my house, to be fair. Get out of here. Shit. Anyway. Apparently this game is called Twilight Sims. Oh, yeah? Did it just run back? Oh, that's Jeremy. Where's Jeremy going? Oh, the fucking moose is back. Bro. I thought Jeremy got deleted there for a second, and I was like, ooh. I'm gonna put a door here. Just to stop the meese from attacking Jeremy Beremy over there. Alright, so this is gonna be our study. I don't think we have flooring for it yet. What did we get? We have alchemy. Yeah, it's the only one we have. We only have alchemy floor. Sucks, man. I don't know how we're supposed to get more things, but anyway. This is fine. This is fine. Maybe if I... No. I put it there. This can be a passageway. Yeah. Let's do like so. Also, Mao, I still have a lot to do for Sunday. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I started with the bong stick. Okay. Where's my camera? So that's what I've got so far. I don't know how well you can see it. The light is like really bad. I need to make the little like hangy downy bits. And then I need to paint it. I also need to put the things on the shoes and paint that as well. And I need to do the sleeve. This is all shit I'm doing tomorrow. I'm seeing the parents for breakfast and then I'm finishing my bonk stick. This is for Yaimiko, if you guys don't recognize it. If it's maybe not recognizable yet, this is going to be Yaimiko's bonk stick. So, gonna be bonking people at rage. And then this is her stuff that's going on her shoes, because she's got like weird little... I don't fucking know. I don't know what to tell you. She got shits on her shoes. She got these shits that go like on her shoes. So yeah. That also needs to be painted. Gonna be bonking people at rage. Yeah. With the bonk stick. Free bonk stick bonks at rage. I want you guys to see Bulbasaur. There we go. You can sit like that. That's actually very comfortable. I need a second Bulbasaur for my other arm. Don't need the wall there, but we're gonna have it there anyway. Hey! Excuse me? Thank you. Therefore, 5 gifted subbies. Oxy got one! Oxy... Enoch? Bolter Pro? Shit. Schnugs? Is that... What was that other person? There was another person with nugs in their name. Sushi Bunny as well? I need to ask her why she's got a 411 in her name. If it means something. Or if it was just a number. You saved the train? Thank you, Joggin. Did the train actually need saving though? You're basic. Oh shit, you just wanted to be Spider-Man. Let's be serious. You just wanted to be Spider-Man. Alright, so I can make this. Just bear with me here for a second. I don't like this window. This is gonna be a wall. There we go. And this one can be a hall. Do we need the second door? I guess it's by the other ramp, so we might as well have it there. That's like the back door. Alright, I can't put a wall there yet. But I need to move that stuff because it doesn't belong there anyway. And then we'll have... like so. Probably... What, probably not? Sorry. I spaced and was like... super focused on what I was doing and now I've forgotten what I said. You know, typical Tato things. Hashtag just Tato things. Ba, 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 ba. I don't know if we'll need more space in the workshop, like going forward. Or more of these building. I don't even know if we need 2 grinders at this point anymore, to be fair. Or 2 of the... I'm actually... I don't think we need 2, hey? Did the train need saving? Oh, sorry. We literally just had that conversation and I'd already spaced and... Cool. So glad. So glad we're here. So glad... Brain no worky. Oh, shit! I forgot about that command. That's a good command. Is that really not gonna work? Oh, hold on. We're good. We do love Potato! It's been nice to see him again as well. Oh, I need blood essence for the floor. That's fine. I'll fix that up in a moment. I wish I could move the heart over one block. Because it's like, it's kind of off center from what I'm doing. Damn it. Why am I like this? I don't need to sneeze. I don't need to sneeze. Because you see, it's kind of just in the middle of nowhere. Hey, yo! Successful hype train. It says dismantle. What will happen to the building if I dismantle it? Can I just put up another one? Did I try and do that? No, I think I tried to and it didn't work. I have a vague recollection. Don't pick your nose. I'm not picking my nose. I'm fixing my piercing. Why are you bullying me? Look at how cool that looks. That's very puggy wuggies. That's very puggy wuggies of us. Oh my god. I don't know why my nose is like so tickly right now. Oh yeah, I never looked at this thing. You can just... Oh wait, I did! I changed my hair, I remember now. We're good. I like that. We can put more things in there. Let's see. Yeah, we can have all the production stuff this side. Because this is like the servants can come through here, basically. And then there's the nice side of the castle. I don't know what I'm gonna do in this room, but I'm thinking decor. Something decor. Ooh, I'm getting thirsty. I need to maybe go out and get something to drink. And by something, I mean someone. Oh, immediately it is sunny. Oh! Well, that was dumb of me to do that. Ow, 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 ow. Someone to drink? Yes. Preferably not a 1% bear, you know? You picking up what I'm putting down? Oh, yeah? Oh, 34% rogue. Which one is he? That one. about the plant as well, bro? Whoa. Nope, 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 nope. Jesus, that was close. Woo! Yeah, listen, I was very worried, hey? I was very worried that my boy was gonna get killed. By myself. By my little ghosty goo, actually. You in that teleport? Aye, man, this is dangerous, hey? This is the most dangerous. I should not be allowed to use it, honestly. Man, I kind of want to play this like on a server so that other people can play like whenever as well, and especially for you, because you there's like a tiny window of time where you can play at the moment. I think maybe I'll actually move that room. Or if I just mirror this back area, maybe? Yeah, maybe actually. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. Let's just schmoove. We'll put the tailor room next to the study. Cause why not? I see about setting up a dedicated server, but you probably don't want to connect to America. How bad do you think the ping would be? Okay, would we be able to try it? Is it free? Is the dedicated server free? If it's something that we can just try out and then abandon if it doesn't actually work out, then it's not too bad. Schmoovin', we schmoovin'. We less schmoovin' now. Poor Jeremy. He's actually just minding his own business. I'm just here fucking tearing up the whole place. Okay, let's see. This is 3 by 2 room. But I think we can expand further out. Yeah, we can. We can make it further out. Okay. I'm just destroying this whole castle. I don't give a single fuck right now. This is gonna be my Barbie dream house. You got another Layla? Oh shit. My nose is so itchy. I have this like permanent feeling of I'm going to sneeze. It's literally the worst. My eyes are like watering. This makes me sad, but it's okay. Jeremy, bury me. It's like can't stop the brain from thinking Jeremy, bury me. It's like stuck in my head now. Ah, fuck. Horse! Whoops. Was that a mosquito? Something just landed on my arm. I'm sure there's a free option. Set it up. Oh, on your PC? Oh, that's what you mean. You know what? Oh, shit. Sorry. We should try that, Jog, and we should see. See what the ping is like. I mean, you had lag issues, right? Like playing on my server, or like on my world. Alchemy table. Oh, bro. I need to cut these shits down. I feel like lag hasn't been a factor. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you would want to. Because then, like, you'll be able to play, you know, when I go doo-doos. But then also, if anyone else wants to join. %, 22%. I mean, those guys aren't bad. That's the kind of person you'd, like, stick in a jail cell and keep him as a tasty snack for later. Remember, there was a jail cell. We saw the jail cells somewhere. Just imprison people. Be like, ah, yes. You could be a snack. Was that a pine cone? The fuck? Nani the fuck? We would have to start over. I mean, I guess. I wouldn't be able to, like, send you this world, would I? I'm not sure we can bring these characters. Yeah, I think these characters belong to this world. Yeah. I'm just gonna put down, like, basic bitch floors for now. Because they're cheaper than the other floors. Because I just wanted to... Okay, that does not fit there. But maybe the blood press will. Haha. Great success. This does not fit though. Heck. I wonder why. Yeah, hey? That's not gonna work. We do need this bad boy though. So maybe it can go like this. Yeah. You're not opposed to it? You'll see about importing? Alright. Perfect. There might be more alchemy things in the future as well. I know that there's definitely other... This one I'll put outside, but... Was there not another... Oh, a smithy? We don't have one of those, do we? No, we don't. I don't think so. Tailoring bench? I don't have that, do I? Oh, because I needed the cotton yarn, right? Which I think I was making. But I needed more coating. Alright. Yeah, this little wiggly room can be the alchemy room. Okay, we have it, we have it. There's a forge workshop. This goes in the forge as well. This goes in the tailor. Okay, then for refining, that's also tailor. That's tailor. Oh, we can make more of those. Maybe there's not another kind though. I wonder how many primos I'm gonna get for the Genshin streamer event. Oh shit, you streamed 5 hours. Oh, did you? Oh, is the thing over now? Fuck. Please stop using my paper jargon. What is this? Allows you to see locations of soul shards? What the fuck is a soul shard? Sorry for the self-promo. Ban yourself, please, sir. Oh, I can build 5 of these, apparently. Yeah, I think this is okay. And then... This game is too much? No ways, Yoda! What do you mean? This game's easy breezy cappageesies, yeah? This off-centeredness actually hurts my soul. I'm just gonna cut it down the middle here. Cha-chang! There we go. Alright, so this is gonna be... the horse. No. Let's put the horses in here for now. Just so they're out the bloody way. Why can't I just pick the horse up? It is honestly the most fun, Yoda. Like... And you don't have to worry about building, because apparently I'm a bully and I just do all the building every time I play games with other people. I'm just like, I'll build! I'll do it. I don't even ask, I just do it. I'm like, yes, this is my job. I am build. I am Bob. Bob the builder. I make house. Bully. I bully. Yeah, cause even when I play with Ray as well, I just like, I'll build. It's mostly, I'm gonna be honest, it's mostly because I'm scared to fight. So, yo, that's why it happens. That's why I'd be like that, yo. Okay, so this is gonna be our smithy. Or our forge, rather. And then, oh, I can actually build the wall here now. Cha-chang! We just got bookcases everywhere, even though it doesn't make sense sometimes. I might actually change that. Because I don't want a bookcase in the smithy, yo. I'm sure I could make another storage more suitable. Oh, I love the vampire lockboxes. Like, so much. But I feel like the big stash would look really nice. Like this one. In the smithy. I think this would look really cool here. So I might do that. Then I can move extra bookcases elsewhere. Sweet. Where's that other bench that I was trying to move? Workbench. Workbench. Wonk bunch. Is this the one that goes in here? Oh, ow, that hurt. Ow. I don't know what I did. Blood essence. Oh, it needs iron. Okay, well, we're not building that for a while, so that's okay, I guess. Ow. What I done, man? Just casually fucking my own shit up. Thanks, buddy. Where do you think the Devourer should be? Because honestly, he's useful everywhere. He's great. Can't believe you've done this to yourself. I mean, I can definitely believe I've done this. I'm no stranger to beating myself up, so, you know. He's such a good boy. I love him. Cool. The stinky heart. It's actually harshing my mellow man. Whoa! The fuck? I clicked off somehow. I've changed my mind. Gonna have like this. And like this. And like this. Cool. So can go like so. We have more space in here for other things. I don't know what else we'll need. There was another thing, wasn't there? The tailoring bench, yeah. So we're waiting for the cotton yarn for that. I think we're gonna need a bit more cotton. Otherwise it should be fine. Poor Jeremy is just minding his own fucking business. I'm busy turning this entire place upside down. Alright, let's see. What flooring do we need? We need the alchemy flooring. Sulfur, stone bricks. Oh, I need sulfur. Where did I put the... Oh, it's here. Oh, I did it again. Every time I click off... God. Every time I click off the screen... Like, off that screen... We don't actually come in here too often. And then we don't have flooring for the forge yet, but we do have flooring for the workshop, which is, I believe, this one. Yeah, like so. So if we go look here... Yep, that one's good. You playing after midnight? Probably? I don't know how long I've been streaming now because my stream broke earlier, so... Yeah, this one's good. The uptime never lies. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is. I don't think we have load shedding. It largely depends on load shedding, you know. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got another gold jewelry. Can be refined at a forge. Is this? No, that's a furnace. Okay, so I think the forge is the new thing I need to build. If you're on after midnight, I can hop on until you pass out. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. My little lonely little light there, my horses. A collection of pony. Alright, this is gonna be the study. Even though I've done fuck all. Is it still slow? That's mad shit. I hate that I can't put the chair, like, in front of the research desk. What did that say? Actually... I've been working on one backlog thing. Oh shit. Nothing else has come in, so you're just fucking around. Just doing the one thing. because there is nothing else to do. I said I was going to change the chests here. I don't have copper on me. Oh, there's copper in here. Oh, those are the mist things. Nice. Actually might move that. I don't know. For now, I guess I'll leave it there because I don't know where to move it. Because I might put the other crafting bench there or make like a crafting corner. So like... Oh, game says no. Yeah, and then the other one can go here. I guess, something like that. Let me go put stuff away. So the tailor is... sorry, Jargon. I realize now that I keep moving things around. And, like, you never know where anything is. Because I'm always moving it around. Sorry, homie. Okay, and then the study is this way. You never retain it anyway? Okay. I guess. Don't know if that makes it better or worse. Okay, and then the workshop is this way. Okay, this is all like the refined things. That doesn't belong there. To be fair, neither do the whetstones, actually. Those belong across the hallway. Here. This? No. This? Refined at the furnace. Can be refined at a grinder or a paper press. What? Gem cutting table. Ooh. You auto sort them. Yeah, that's generally what I do as well. We'll go throw this one in the study for now. Hmm? Pony, pony. I don't know where my other pony's gone. I've misplaced a pony. Did I leave him behind? Oh, I think I did. For the other pony. Whoops. What was I doing here? Oh, putting stuff in the chests. So gems. Your pony spies out in the wild somewhere? Yeah, it's keeping an eye on the peepers for me. What a good boy. Okay, gem dust. Swinging the chains. That goes in the grinder. I just heard a weird noise outside. So glad. Pony licking the damn floor again. Where does this come from? This is for potions, so maybe put in the alchemy room. This can stay here. This all can stay here. Some merchant fabric can be refined at a loom. I think this is fine the way it is. The plants, the fish. Man, we have a lot of that grass. I think we're gonna dump all this in here. That's fine. Alrighty. Blood essence and stone bricks. Well, we don't have a shortage of blood essence. At least. Stone bricks on the other hand. Damn. Okay. We have a lot of this stuff. Goddamn. And a lot of the sawdust as well, to be fair. Okay. There's a tree, like, basically growing in our house there. I haven't really needed to use the clay. I think the clay is more like for decoration stuff. We don't have too much of it, but I haven't really needed it yet. Alright. Lighting. Universal. A seat for one. Okay, so we needed sculptured wood. And what was this? Yeah, it was all just sculptured wood. That's kind of cute though. Was it here? Yes. That's fine. Now is a great time to go out and cut trees, right? I agree. I concur. Bulbasaur just looks like he's hanging on for dear life over here. Is there ever a bad time? I mean, I guess when the sun is about to come out, maybe. Oh, there's another tree there? That's the one that's in the house. These trees ain't shit, yo.
Would you like a cup of water? Cause you look thirsty as fuck right now.
Can you make a separate redeem for killing GeoCube and make it like 10k for you? As a meme? Wow, that was a 69% woof. Sorry, guys. You have too many points. Isn't there anything more fun that you could do with those points, though? You don't think? I just want to check something. You have 90k? Damn. Stop watching my stream then. Suffering from success jargon. Oh yeah, I gotta hydrate as well. Thank you, Yaku. I will hydrate now. Uh-oh. It's becoming daytime. Yeah. Okay, bye. Bye, bye, bye. Imagine though. Just like, bye, bitch. I'm out. Peace. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Before I hydrate. Thank you, Yaku. Got some jeans. Oh, you can get the gem dust. Oh, I see. So maybe the crude ones are worth salvaging. You know, once we get to that point. We need more iron, definitely. Sweet. Okay. I mean, this is looking pretty good so far. Huh. Oh, so that you don't actually make jewelry out of it, you just make gold. Okay. I wonder what that's for. Gonna make an alt called Drate. Why? How many alts do you have? All of them. He has all of the alts, Mao. So you can greet me? Hydrate! Haha. I get it now. Why did I do that? Jeremy's in the study for some reason. He looks like he's up to no good. Ah. I wonder. Did that do anything? Oops. Too soon. Oh, I think it's not hitting the right one. Nope. How do you unbear? Cool. Why no shade here? Oh, you just press control? Like you tap control? Okay, no, that doesn't work. What? I'm in the shade, you motherfucker. Oh yeah? Putrid rats? Yes. Big agree. Could maybe look at doing what's her name again? Beatrice. Can't tell if that's actually working or not. It's a little bit confusing. But yeah, I think that would help. No, not the tree, you silly bear. Also, I don't think this does anything. That roar. How many times do I have to hit this bitch? Ow. Hello, oh, Jesus. What? Bubble. You got hacks? Mao's been sitting here this whole time. He didn't redeem first. How embarrassing. Bubble beat you to it, Mao. My stream crashed earlier, Mao. What the? How long? Hey! How much do I have to pound this rock before it breaks? Hacker Man 2000. Boy. I don't understand. Stomp the ground to deal damage to the target in front of you. Can be used to destroy massive resources. Destroy the attack, yield no resources. Okay. So why is he not breaking? Are you sure you can? Listen, that's what it says. Is it just not an actual rock? I've been wasting my time. I think I have. This is fine. This is a-okay. This is a rock that we can't destroy. It's just part of the landscape, yeah. It's just there. Pine cone. It just says can be planted within your territory. I think you just stick it in the ground, to be fair. Alright, so I wanted exterior copper. Man, but it looks so cool. I can't build here because of the fucking rock. What am I short? Blood essence? Couldn't be me. That sucks, man. That's buttholes. That's actual buttholes. Oh. That's all the blood essence. One should be enough. Yeah, this rock is an actual butthole. I'm taking my stuff back. I don't know if I want to build here. Because, like, it seems like such a waste. So I guess I'll... Damn it. Maybe I can build here. For Pony Pony. That's what I'm trying to make, like a little thing for them. That's a cute spot. I'm gonna... Maybe skedaddle skedaddle for a second. Because an ad is gonna pop soon. So what better time to AFK than during an ad, you know? So you guys ain't missing anything if you do catch an ad. Imagine watching ads. Could not be me. Although, to be fair, Daddy, who has sub, gets ads all the time. So I don't know what he's done to piss off Twitch, but, you know. Sucks to be him, I guess. There's a fucking rat, mate. All in my business. I just hate that it's like... like so roundabout to get out there. But what? My alternative is... stone bricks. Oops. We got bricks. No beaches? No bricks? Anything is no bitches if you try hard enough. No planks? Okay, let me put this door on and then I'm gonna be right back. Ah, 50 seconds. Hehe, okay. Very nice. Very cool. I might remove this wall, actually. Alright, guys, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna throw you on the BRB screen. Because I'm gonna pop an ad break. Go stretch your legs. Go get a drink, a snack. Do whatever you need to do. Get comfy. Get a blankie if you need. Get a plushie. I'll be back. Bye. High voltage. Okay, so don't touch that. Well, that's got a hand on it, but it's also got other hands on it. Daddy! The timing! Why was that so good? Fuck, man. Okay. Money, 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 money. Make an offering. Listen, Tango, they never say why the power's out. They're like, oh yeah, there's a fault. I'm like, yeah, it's your fault the power's out. Turn it back on. My god. Okay.
Gmax underscore Yoda screamed, my sprinkler goes like this. And comes back like it.
Okay, I wasn't expecting the second part, so that that one got me. Very nice. I like. Did you guys see that? What did he just do? Did you guys see that? Oh, shotgun, you can just run up to them and shoot them in the face. Where is this guy? I wonder if the avatar farts. You mean like Aang? Being a windy boy, I wonder if he can just like control his farts. So you just don't hear the squeak. It's just silent but deadly all the way. Oh, the stream. I'm so sorry, Jinxie. My brain went a completely different direction there. I can't even explain my way out of that, I'm sorry. Fart bender, indeed. I'm miserable right now. This is impressive and not in a good way. I agree, but I just got one now, so maybe I should be thankful. Okay, now another one. That's not him. That's also not him. That's especially not him. That is a bow. That is not a dog boy. That is also not a dog boy. This is disappointment. I'm gonna go ugly cry. This is a cat! Ah! Uh-oh. I'm being too loud. It's now almost 12 o'clock. I need to... Shh. Can't go. Stairway to hell. Ah! What am I supposed to do? High five him in the face? See, but I like it. A pussy tight pussy feet, pussy fresh. No, piss! I had that song stuck in my head earlier today. Oh no. Why you read? Because it was funny. What is it? 3-7. Oops. Slowly. Ah! Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I fucking help you? Can you, like, focus? You literally have one thing to focus on, it's me.
And I don't play scary games at all. I am a chicken bitch of note, let me tell you. I get a fright from my own notifications if I don't see them coming, so... You guys!
Why didn't I pick a butthole?
Weapon- no, we don't do weapon banner in this house. Weapon banner is disappointment. So no. Russian nut scares me. Oh! Me scary? Never. I'm not scary. I'm fluffy and soft and squishy. Very squishy. But vote. Vote in the poll, please. And I don't play scary games at all. I am a chicken bitch of note, let me tell you. I get a fright from my own notifications if I don't see them coming, so...
Sorry, did it loop on the clip?
You guys!
Which color? Are you talking about football?
I'm being too loud. It's now
it's not
almost
the wrong
12 o'clock.
There we go. Yeah, sorry I took so long. I had to go check on Ray. He's not feeling so good. And, oh, it's daytime. He's not feeling too good at the moment. I also went to go make tea. Ah, thank you, thank you. Alright, I said I wanted to build those fences. Do we have... not much copper? No copper? Shit. Dr. Hassan. Shame, I don't know what's wrong. He's had a headache for like most of today. He's just kind of hanging in there at the moment. The last doctor that people would visit for now, Hassan. But you know, once you get those certifications and all the training and the experience, someone dies, skill issue. Shrug. No. Please. I think I'm safe here. Where is it? Fundamental? What kind of range does this thing have? That will be after 6 years? No, man. Oh, no, no. Environment keeps cock blocking me, so come on, man. we ever come from that direction? I don't think so. Oh, that's how you plant things. You literally just plant it. Oh my god. That wind? What wind? Oh, your wind? Okay. We can leave that door open, to be fair. It's windy. It's windy as fuck. I need to go replenish our ore. Because it's a little bit low. It's a little bit spicy low now. Oh wait, I wanted bones, yeah? Yeah, we can take a full stack. Trees are whipping outside. For realsies? That's mad shit, yo. Okay, that's too much. Too much stuff. Can stick it in there. Yeah? Holy shit. And, Ninja? Is Ninja okay? Nini. Is a Nini okay? Is Jenny working from home? Is it like dangerous to drive? I hate weather like that. He's good, gives no fucks, wants food only. She is? She working from home today? Boom, 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 boom. When it's her birthday soon. Gosh. I have to keep checking the dates because I'm just like, what fucking day is it today? Literally the days are blurring together. Even though I'm trying my best to like, you know, think about things. Her gift in the mail. It's a big cardboard box. Maybe this can be our garden, actually. Did I goof? Did I goof by destroying that? Whoops. I broke part of the castle. This is now a courtyard. Could actually do that, to be fair. I needed stone and planks, yeah. She's probably looked at it a bunch of times, really. She's like, what is it? It's for me? Does she know it's for her? Oh man, you gotta tell me, like, her reaction. I'm excited for her. Don't I have blood in one of these somewhere? No? Oh, well, fuck, fine. Apparently I didn't. Yeah. What am I doing with all of that? Oh, you have a bunch of boxes in your office? Oh. Oh, shit. Okay, sorry, I missed that message before. Ha ha ha. That's so cool, man. I don't have stone. Oh, fuck. What have I done? Oh my god. Guys, it's the old layout. I actually need to delete these because, yeah. That shit's Uggs. I don't know how I did that, honestly. Honestly, no idea what I did there, but it's okay. Be like that sometimes, you know? That was like old shit. I needed stone, yeah? My ponies. Has my blood already, like, Looking spicy low again. Eh? Castle limit reached. Fuck! Never fucking mind then, I guess. Didn't wanna build there anyway, actually. I wonder. Oh, these are small? Okay, that's not too bad then. Oops. I don't know how this works. Like, will it keep on growing or... What did I even grow there? So that's 4. Whoops. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Was that the blood rose that I planted? I think so. Also, did you see you literally just put the plant down? Actually, because I don't know. What? Wait a second. I played myself there, I guess. Not my brain wanting to troll me and immediately press spacebar after I do that. This is fine. Well, this was gonna be for the horses. I don't know how much we're gonna fit there, but you know. We'll see. We'll see. Also, the bones. This is the bones going in here. So, I don't know how big this... Oh, it looks pretty good. It looks like it covers a fair amount, actually. I think it covers this whole garden. Cool, cool, cool. Nice. Let's see. Okay, we've done this one. How did I fuck the spacing up? Whoops. I can move them though? Okay. This is fine. No, I can't move them? Never mind. And then... And then... Whoa! Okay. That's pretty large. I think that's a bit of everything. Don't know about planting the pine cones, to be honest. Because, like, check how big they are. This is maybe, like, for decoration. I don't know. Can we really not move these though? Oh man. Maybe it gives back seeds if you... It gives back a seed if you move it. Because it's like 75%. Is this Valheim Mistlands? Yes! Yes it is, Bubble. Let's see. Exterior parts. It's technically grass. Do I need to place grass? We'll go take a look. I don't think I need to place grass though. Because it's already grass, yeah? Like... Eh? Blocked by plant. Kick. W. That's weird. Look at that. That looks fucking weird. Tea! I am touching grass. Thank you. Thank you for your concern. I am touching grass. I wonder then, can I... Yeah, I can put this on grass, but I can't put the grass under that. Oh, I'm so confused. Anyway, I guess we'll see if we can harvest those. If not, then that's latest problem, I guess. Okay, so we can actually turn that off at night. And then turn it on when we need to. It is about to become daytime. Is it? Cool. Random snowflowers growing there. I don't know if I can sneak the horses past that building, but I'm gonna give it a try. What are we doing? Hi, Hero. Hi, T. How are you guys doing? I am currently messing around in this game. Making a little place for my horses. So they'll be safe. You were watching football? Shit. Who was playing? I don't know fuck all about football, so I don't know why I asked, but you know, I want to be part of the conversation, I guess. England versus USA? Oh shit, who won? It's 0-0? Wow. Fucking sucky ass teams. Goddamn. Oh wait, did they already... Everyone is involved? Not me, Hero! Not me. Look at my ponies. Yeah. Played better than England? Damn. We won the Revolutionary War. So give us a point. Is this Stardew Valley? Yes, T. Have you played Stardew Valley before? Is that how you recognized it? Okay, I want to try something. You can see like the shadow extend slowly. Like it's not there. And now it's there. So this is useful to have on during the day if we need it. But yeah. 10, 5, 12. Okay, so Jeremy, what the f— get out of here. So this is mine. This one, I think. I think this one's yours. It's 10, 5, 12. Yeah. So I've got this one now. And then, yeah. So there's these are Jargon's horses at the back here. These two here. And then these two at the front of mine. Which mod is this? Dawn God. I need blood. I do need blood. It's daytime though. I'm gonna leave this door open actually. And then this also doesn't need to stay on. Is Jeremy gonna die outside? Oi! Psst, psst. Get in here. Fucking Jeremy. He better not get himself killed. Can he go in the sun? Oh, mind blown. Skyrim Valley, Dawn God. Ah! Shit, man. What game is this? Cool, well... Snowflowers. Them boys. These boys. That boys. It's ya boy. I accept biltong in place of my horse. You want to eat your horses? You want to turn your horses into biltong? It's kind of weird, Joggin. We don't do that here, by the way. Joggin just wants to turn horses into biltong. Joggin, no! Kind of weird. Kind of weird, buddy. Alright, I just need to harvest materials now and get blood, apparently, because I'm thirsty. Thirsty as fuck. Oh wait, this is refined stuff. I can put this here. And the stone. Make a biltong maker? It is actually very easy. I just don't know about the quality of the meat in the US. No offense. Zebra stripes taste different. each stripe has a different taste. They're just stripy horses. Yeah, horses in pajamas. No, 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 you have meat there. I'm just talking about like the quality. I don't know, because I know South Africans who have moved to Europe. They're like, yeah, the quality of the meat is not so great, and I was just like, oof. Don't know how true that is, but they did not seem impressed. Like, oh, specifically, people who moved to, I think it was like, well, it was the UK. It was somewhere in the UK. They were just not impressed. 29% brute. Hot diggity dog. Hope there's a boy in there for me. Otherwise, I'll just take what I can get, I guess. Oh, fuck! You bitch! Stop that! It's me, I'm the bitch. There's a 1% rogue. Damn. Fuck me, I guess. Oops. Oh, paper? Thank God. Oh, shit. Shit, 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 shit. Oh, shit. Better than a kick in the face. You eat Fane Boss? Ew. The fuck? Oh, 22%. 35% rogue? I'm gonna go for that. Haha! Get juked! Get juked! Get juked! Just juking? Just juking. Got him. Our cows? Your cows? Wait, what? Sorry, I was not paying attention to the conversation. It changed slightly. You're gonna have a bad time? Yeah? Walmart meat? Not good? I'll make note of that. Oh, there's more guys back here? Weak bitches. Rip. More paper? Please. Joggin ate all my paper. You're never gonna live that down, Joggin. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the US. But yeah, like I was saying, someone who moved to the UK, they were like, yeah, the meat here is not as good. So, don't know how true that is. Maybe it was just their experience. Injected with water? Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, if we, what was I saying? If we get meat, we typically get it from a butcher. Gonna have to go find everything again when we move to Cape Town. Like, find a butcher. We still have to figure out where exactly we're moving to. I should have brought a horse. Damn it. Should have brought a horse. Where in Cape Town? Well, that's the thing. I don't know yet. We haven't moved yet. We haven't really looked at where to go. On the Cape, of course. Of course. Where else? You know of 2 that you can drive to? Oh, really? Oh, that's butts. So do you get Walmart meat then, Jargon? Yeah, I can take him. Kitty! Oh my goodness, yes, head to bed. Good gravies. It is late. It is late o'clock. Ow. Hey, that's paper. Goodness, have a lovely evening. Sweetest dreams, kitty. I didn't realize you would still be awake. Damn. Mid to high quality. Oh, supermarket. Oh, fancy supermarket meat. Fancy AF, yeah. Logging on quick to use your paper. I'll just delete you, easy. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Oh shit, I got bed bugs? This is a terrible way to find out. Thanks for the warning, kitty.
Got it!
Jargon! Sir. Thank you. Thank you for the gift subby for tea. T, I feel like I haven't seen you in ages. Are you keeping well, friend? Are you still keeping up the art grind? T had ads? Oh, shitty titties. Unacceptable. Truly unacceptable. Bye, kitty. Like I said before, sweetest dreams. I don't know if I worded correctly earlier, so I was just like, let me just repeat myself in case I didn't. Because words are hard, you know? Sorry, guys. I wish I didn't have to kill you, but, like, you're very aggressive. Oh, was that an unsullied heart? Oh my god. You can get unsullied hearts from wolves. Sorry, that was unprovoked, but... it was preemptive. Was that the con? Fuck, man. That's so long ago. Like, well and truly, that's so long ago. Damn. The grind is going? Fantastic. As long as you can't stop, won't stop. Don't stop. Oh, let's see if there's any... 3%? Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. 44%? I might grab him. What else have we got here? 8%. %. Embarrassing. Sorry, guys. Oh. Like, I wonder what makes their hearts like. Haha, get juked. Get juked. Sick jukes. Funny jukes. That was so good. Okay, now how do I do this again? Hey, friend. Ow. Cosplaying at Rage? Yes! How good was that juke, though? Yoda, you still awake, friend? Let's go home, bud. That is not the way home.
Would you like a cup of water?
Because you look thirsty as fuck right now. There's the alpha wolf. Shit. Let's go this way.
Would you like a cup of water?
Ah!
Because you look thirsty as fuck right now.
Do I? I look thirsty as fuck? I'll take a sip now. I need to get home. I need to get my boy home. My new friend. His name is gonna be Bandrew. Yep. Don't wake up the bear. Don't wake up the bear. Don't wake up the bear, Bandrew. Bandrew. You helping Tian with Genshin stuff? Oh shit! I don't know why I always forget that Tian plays. Let Tristan be on this road now, I'll cry. Come on, new friend. Get in here. There we go. Nope. No escape. No escape. Alright, I need to build him. Dominance. Plank. Ingot. And blood essence. Plank, ingot, plank. Plonk. Blood essence. The fancy one. I don't know where he's gone though. Oh, he's still following me. Good lad. Good lad. I think the blood essences I put in here. Yeah. Nice. Let's go make him a snooze corner. Cha-chong. You wanna get in there? Hehe. Okay, so 45% gives you 5 to 8. Got one with humble appearance. I keep getting woodcutters though. Here's Andrew. Alright, hydrates, guys. I'm hydrating with tea though, so you're gonna have to pardon me on that. GG's Hassan. Look, there's a garden for my horses. Ow, 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 ow. There we go. Now the garden's dark. You can see like the shadow spread. Jeremy Beremy just wants to be out here. There we go. Alright. I've got blood. I have lots of stuff on me. Let's go put stuff away. I think I might basically be donezos for tonight. Put that away. I do have a bit of a headache. Which honestly I had earlier, but I thought it would go away. I was just like, if I ignore it, it'll go away, right? No. It did not go away. It stayed well past its welcome. Can go pack this shit. We have a lot of whetstones now. Remember when we were like, oh, we don't have a lot of whetstones, gotta be careful with how we use it? Nope. I hope it sorts out too. But I'm not too worried. Normally, like, go to sleep, wake up the next day, you feel fine. This can go in here, this can go in here. Oh, flowers don't belong in there. Okay, this one, the blood. I've got hearts as well. Nice. So much blood essence, goddamn. Mama, you chinchillin, sir. Honestly, the flowers should be in here. I actually need to go check all the horses that got water as well. This belongs in here. There we go. Paper and flowers in the study. And this book. Gravel parts. I think we already have that, right? Yeah, we do. This one. Don't need to research it. Can destroy it. Okay, so those are all the keeps. This is the chuck. Hey, we're halfway. For the papers. Peeper pigs. Alright, I don't have to do that anymore. Oh, I got crossbows. I guess I can go salvage things. So long. That's all study stuff. Okay, that's fine. And then... what else did I want to do? There's the Eye of Twilight. Oh shit. I don't know what that means, what a soul shard is, but considering it requires gold, I feel like it's not something we have to worry about for a while. So that's okay. How was that wasn't that a bone crossbow and we got planks and stones out of that? Seems important, yeah. I wonder what for though. Ugh, why do I keep doing that? There we go, we just need 7 more paper. And then we can make the study and then learn new things. There we go. Okay, I think I spent a lot, but ow. I think I got a lot of materials back. Got some things processing. Yeah. Sweet. Alright. I need to do some actual lighting in this place. Because we currently just, like, live in darkness. You want... She wants you to sleep early? It's already kind of late, though, her son. I don't know if that counts as sleeping early. Okay. I think this might be my last, venture into the night. Soul shards become very important without spoiling anything. It's a player buff station. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, 47% with my name on it. Don't mind if I do. Actually, titties. No! I fucked my timing there. Hello! Nom nom nom. Also, thank you, feisty biche. I appreciate actually a lot of people who have given me advice. They're like very careful with what they say, and it's just been good shit, man. They give me the need to know only. What is this? Garbage. I'm not even gonna. Hello, goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, bye-bye. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. And you? And you? And you? Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye, 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 bye. Ah, shit, I picked up things. Shitty titties. Once more, I'm throwing things on the floor. This is fine. Goodbye, stuff. You knew you were fighting without a weapon? Yeah, so I didn't want to kill, the one guy. I want to go get more cotton. Where is the... Ah, here we go, cotton farm. Yeah, let's go there. I didn't want to kill the one guy, and we've accidentally killed a lot of people. It's a little bit embarrassing, so let's not talk about it too much, but... I use the chaos volley quite a lot to prevent myself. What happened? What do you get if you kill a sheep? Apologies, sheepy. Hide, heart, bone. Not really needed, I guess. Don't need to kill sheepies. Feel bad about it. Oh, Jesus! The fuck was that? Bush just exploded. We do need to get a worker from this area at some point. Oh yeah? Pochi? Pony chopper! Hello ponies! You have over 1,500? Damn! I mean, it is a really good game. It's got, How did I get in there? This way? It's got a lot of shit to do. Alright. Is this the place I want to go? Is this the place we came to before? Shh. It's okay. I'm just here for your crops, guys. Relax. I may steal your shit too, so sorry in advance. Ooh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. No guards. No guards. It's okay, babies. It's okay. I'm not gonna eat you. You're okay. I'm just stealing your shit. Hope y'all don't got kids to feed. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just taking a shit. It's okay. It's okay.
Jargon
Whoa, whoa.
1674 screamed, here's a llama, there's a llama, and another little llama, fuzzy llama, funny llama, 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 duck. Llama, llama, cheesecake, llama, dablet, brick, potato, llama, 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 mushroom, llama, 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 duck. I was once a treehouse, I lived in a cake, but I never saw the way the orange slayed the rake. I was only 3 years dead, but it told a tale, and now listen. Little child to the safety rail, did you ever see a llama kiss a llama on the...
I don't know if I really need the sunflowers. I'm gonna leave them, I guess.
Twice the llama, not a llama farmer, llama, llama in a car, a llama, llama, llama duck. Is this how it's
Whoa.
told now? Is it all so old? Is it made of lemon juice? Doorknob, ankle, cold now. My song is getting thin. I've run out of luck. Time for me to retire now and become a duck.
Cha-chang! Oh. Pony, pony. Oh, shush. Brian spitting bars. Well and truly spitting bars. That was an oopsie. I need to GTFO, yeah? I need to GTFO into the bushes, yeah? So I can have like a second to breathe. She says as she continues to run on the fucking road. What the fuck is that? Oh, hell no. We won't park ass around the corner here. Just for a second. Abandoned farm? I think not. Alright, okay, I'm gonna want to turn around. I want to come this way. I think. Alternatively, I go around this. I'm scared. Let's go this way, since we're already here. Oh, I was wanting to swing past... Uh-oh. I was wanting to swing past iron, but frankly can't be asked. It's this way, this way, this way, this way. I think we have enough cotton for now. I don't wanna fuck around and find out, basically. Girly, can you stop going such spicy routes, please? It's me, I'm girly. Oh, okay, cool. Christ on a cracker! Can I jump down here? Okay, I guess the answer is no. Okay, I need to head this way. Oh fuck, I need to go around again. You're gonna go, bitch? No worries, Hassan. Sweetest dreams. Your mama said, bitch. Therefore it is bitch time. What are those? What are these? Fuck. Where am I running? Whoopie. Whoopie doops. Shit. Crap. I wonder if this horse can outrun Tristan. At what point are we strong enough to take on Tristan, though? Because I'm tired of his spooking us. Now there's a new, a higher level, I was gonna say Demon Slayer, vampire hunter. I don't remember her name, but I remember the fear when I saw her. And there's friendly friends. Goodbye. Don't mind me, I'm just riding on a horse. Hi guys, bye guys. Wah! Keep your spicy meatballs to yourself, thanks. We can probably murder Tristan. I can't wait. Fucking destroy him. Please. I'm like vaguely following your green dots, Jargon. I got a lot of cotton. I got 510 because I was pinching it out of their houses. Got quite a few from the houses actually. It's quite nice. Okay, I have a vague idea of where I am now. I think I'm close to home. In fact, yes, there's home. I'm going the long way. Shit. Let's turn around, Tony. Pony, pony, chupa. I went the wrong fucking way. Guys, focus. Focus. Follow the road, girl. Use your eyeballs. Okay, we're good. I swear, I just get distracted. My pony is on the road and I'm just like, yes, go. Pony, go. Don't need eyes. Don't need to look. Just go. Can I open gate with pony? I can. Hello, welcome home. Cool. So, who needs water? Wait, does that mean all those other horses that I jumped on are gonna die of thirst now? Can't believe I've done this. Where did I put the water? Shit. Pony, choppa. Rest in peepos. The thing is, like, you have to jump on them to see their stats, yeah? You have a cuck weird and stupid question, and I'd like to hear y'all's opinion. Oh no. Oh my god, that looked empty for a second. It's like standing around the corner. Oh, that's why. Because it's only level 2. We need more sheets, Jargon. Depends how cuck weird the question is, Galaxy Wolf. But hit us. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Woof. It's a bit tight. A bit full. Nope. What did I have on me? What is this? Sunflowers. Oh shit! I can grow sunflower. Very fucking cool. Oh no, it's a blood moon next. Okay, I'm definitely logging out so Jargon and I can misuse and abuse that blood moon when it rolls around. You keen? You down, friend? More scroll. Hope your garlic goes away. I think it should. Because it's like, it's already going down. It's only 50 now anyway, so... Fuck. Keep going to the wrong rooms. Nope. Bones? Bones goes in the workshop. I think this chest. Aha. Hehehe. Do y'all think a dog would use a litter box if there's no grass? Maybe if you taught the dog to do it, I guess. Mayhaps. Maybe. It depends. If it's a big dog, maybe not. I think it would be quite hard for them to aim. But I know that I've seen it like in the US especially like for training puppies and stuff, they use something called like a, is it like a puppy pad or something? It's basically just an absorbent, it's like it's like if a nappy was a sheet and you could put it down on the ground. Dogs are easily manipulated. What the fuck? Should we do a jigsaw before we go? The blue on your eyes looks neato. Thank you. I wasn't sure how visible it was. I guess on small camera, definitely not. But definitely a bit easier to see here. Why's my one... I was scratching my wrist earlier. Whoops. Such a cool shade. Why? Because it's light blue. Do you guys want to do a puzzle? Oh wait, Hassan had to go to bed. Do we do a puzzle without Hassan? Does anybody want to do a puzzle? Any puzzle peepers out there? Puzzle? I've summoned Yoda. Puzzle? Hassan sits up straight in bed and doesn't know why. Hassan feels he hears the call to action, and he doesn't know why. He's like, what's going on? He's gonna be so mad when he finds out. Yeah, we'll just do one before I outie patouties. Any requests? Y'all know I love the food ones. I feel like we've done the food ones. Ooh, I really like that one. This looks good. Might go for that citrus one though. Oh, there's another citrus. Oh, I like that one. Oh, we're doing the donuts. Sorry. Let's motherfucking go. Let's do this shit. Donuts or donuts? Donuts. Donuts or donuts? I wonder. Also, sorry I'm going to bed earlier than I thought, Jargon. I'm feeling like wrecked. Well and truly wrecked. Jargon. You bloody nonsense. You bloody nonsense. Unbelievable. Should I... You outies, patouties, tea. Please take care of yourself. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. What was I doing? Set. Is there jigsaw? Is it jigsaw.io? Or jigsaw puzzles? Oh yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. Sweet. Nahida, is that Yas's words, man? Hello? Can I... Brain? Sorry, whoever's piece I stole there. I forgot what I was saying. It's gone. It's actually lost to the abyss. Space cadet. The spaciest of space cadets. Oh, that went there? That didn't look right. But okay. Fine, I guess. Hey, yo! What it is? What it is? What the? Did that... I put it down and then it didn't stick. And then I tried again. How you doing, Smurf? Why you up so late? It's doo-doo's time. It's time for doo-doos. I go doo-doo soon. That's why we do puzzle. It's puzzle before doo-doos. Hmm. Haha. I was like, yeah, this goes somewhere. This looks about right. Hmm. That's somewhere there. I just can't see where exactly. Also, if anybody else wants to join, you're welcome to. There is the linky dinks. It's a free-for-all. It's a bloodbath. This is an extreme sport in my channel. You gotta get good. No, no, no. This is too light. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hmm. Your brain is starting to malfunction. No worries, Galaxy Wolf. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Take care of yourself. And have a good weekend as well. Every peeper who's outie patouties. Go have yourself a good one. And be good to yourself. That's the rules. Them's the rules. Don't break the rules, please. Do-da-do. Them's the fucking rules. Or else. You best take care of yourselves or else. Gonna come knock on your door. Be like, hey! Stop your shit. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Mm. It's the shape I want, but not the piece. This goes somewhere here, maybe. Oh! Mm. Boop, 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 boop. I should really put some music on. Let's go. Theme loop. Loop, loop, loop. Oops. That is not what I wanted to do. There we go. Otherwise, it's just me sitting here making fucking weird noises the whole time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time, ain't nobody got time, ain't nobody got time for that. This is dark color. Yeah? Ah. Hmm. This music fucking slapper. Guys. Who told her son? Who told her son we were doing a puzzle? Hmm? Who ratted on me? It was one of yous. Who was it? Did you wake up in a cold sweater, son? You're like, they're doing puzzles without me. His son could smell the puzzles being completed without him, and he was like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. Unbelievable. The audacity. The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this bitch to do puzzles without me. How could she? The betrayal. Axe? Hello, Axe. Where the fuck did you come from? What the hell? Who summoned them? This is actually betrayal. Where? I give up with that piece. Doesn't make any sense. Yoda, did you summon them? Or was it you, Jargon? Jargon was just here causing shit. It is I, the Nightwalker. Do you want the... Yes, it's donuts. Donuts, as you wrote it. Donuts. No. Yeah. I didn't realize there was another pink one at the top here. Things be making a little more sense now. Look at these dingalings putting things in the wrong places. Huh? Hey, yo! Sorry, Axe. It was really late. You haven't had a donut in 3 months? The little gremlins keep eating them. Should we do one more? Do you guys want to do one more? Why did it disconnect me at the end there? You came by yourself? Do we have any requests? Whoa, every time I see this one, I think it's dildos. And I'm just like, whoa! Can we do another food one? I love the food ones. Do the maze one again? Absolutely not. We will do it one day. Today is not that day, however. Oof. With 1,000 pieces? Oh my goodness. Pandas? You want to do the panda? We can do this one. Panda cute as hell. Get in here. Fucking nerds. Okay. Just immediately put it in the right place. Cool. wish you could hear everyone's pieces clicking. Like, how satisfying would that be? Just to hear, like, a constant clicking noise. Oof. Oh my god. It would get annoying fast. I don't know, I really like the sound of it. Like, it's a satisfying as fuck sound. You could also gauge just like how quickly the puzzle's being completed as well. I like the sound. I'm not gonna lie, these green colors making it a little hard to see. There we go. I don't know if that changes for you guys as well, but it was kind of hard to see. Oh yeah, I'm going to the parents for breakfast tomorrow. I shouldn't stay up too late. We're going for breakfast. Debbie's feeding us. I can't wait. I love when other people feed me because it means that I don't have to do the dishes. I'm like, fuck yeah. Let's go. Can Debbie feed me too? I don't know. Can she? Can she feed you? No, no. There we go. Mother, we require sustenance. I mean, she's technically not my mama. But I've definitely stolen her from Ray. It's Ray's mama. We went out shopping today. It was nice. I got some stuff for my Nobara cosplay. Very excited for that as well. May I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Someone was building a face up here. I don't know. I'm like, oh, this looks like it belongs to the face. Here we go. This is almost definitely there. Sorry, whoever's piece I stole. Pana pana. Cha-chang. I can't remember what the bamboo looked like. It looks like it belongs, right? No, this one goes... there. Yeah, that's what you get for grabbing people's pieces. It goes there, you nerd. Ayo!
Jargon 1674 screamed. 100 biddies. Smash.
Smash! Thank you for the biddies, friend. Why you smash? Was that your hand? Were you grabbing my pieces? Do you want to take us outside? Huh? Do you want to take us outside? Do you want to go? Do you want to fucking go? Do you want to take us outside? Let's go, let's go. His panda nose. He's missing an eyeball. Where the fuck are their eyes? They literally just have black fur there. They don't actually have eyes. Where are the eyes? Where is the lie? Where are the eyes? You know? You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? Where are the eyes? Where are we going? Outside, man. I just cleaned the floor. I'm not gonna let you bleed on the floor. How good is this music? Pandas without dark circles. No, but like... ah! They're such goofy little animals as well. Well, I say little, they're not very little. They're rather large, actually. No, that was very wishful thinking of me. Grabs piece and just tries to stick it in there. Did not fit at all. I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. Man, you guys are quick fast. Nope. Hey, yo. A quick cheeky panda before bed. Sheesh. Very nicely done. Where are your eyes? Where are the lies? There they are. Their eyes are so tiny. That's fucking cute though. Not gonna lie. I love it. Your twin did half of it? Why is your twin up? Both of you. Hey!
Jock in 1674 screamed. 100 biddies. Meow.
Meow. I mean, I guess that is the name of the emote. Alright guys, I do need a skidoodle skidoodle. She says hi, hello! Go to bed! Both of you. Your twin maybe doesn't know this. But since I'm your mom, I'm her mom as well. So, both of you go to bed. Otherwise the chunk lie's coming out. One, no more, no more, no more. You know what? I need to get me into that habit, please, of doing puzzles at the beginning of stream again. Oh! Someone's live that I haven't seen live in a long time. Oh, there's another one that's live that I haven't seen live before. But I don't know. Do I want to go here? Looks okay. Yeah. Fuck it. Go there. Do you know? Do you know where we're going? Alright, guys. We're gonna go. Why not both? Because we can only raid one person. What do you mean? What do you mean? Yes. We go Muki. I see where you are. Okay. Excuse my snorting. Yes, we're gonna go to Muki. Divide and conquer. I mean, I guess. My twin says you don't look 30 years old. Thank you. I am 30 though. I was born in 92. You look 40? Thank you. I look very mature is what you're saying. I appreciate it. Thank you. Alright guys, we are going to Muki. Muki is currently playing World of Warcraft, playing with friends. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing things. Anyway, let's go give love to Muki. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Yeah, have a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys next week for more shenanigans. Take care of yourselves. I'm doing a shoot on Sunday as well, so I need to go do that. Get that ready. But yes, Bye, guys. And thank you all so much for tonight. It was a little bit of a messy stream, but it happened. Alright. Bye, 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 bye. Is the music still playing? Kind of. Hey, yo. I'm jamming.